They say silence can be deadly, but sometimes it's what people refuse to say that leaves the deepest scars. This is the story of a woman who screamed for help, a man who saw the truth, and a secret so twisted, the truth may have died long before she did. Heather Kemplin lived on a quiet cul-de-sac in Linwood Heights, Ohio. The kind of neighborhood where wind chimes outnumber porch lights, and everyone waves, even if they don't know your name. She was 29, smart, beautiful, ambitious, worked in public relations, always smiling. But behind that perfect smile, there was fear. On March 11, 2018, Heather sent a text to her sister. Just 5 words. "I think he's watching again." She was referring to her ex-boyfriend, James Weir. 32. Blue collar. Hot temper. On and off again for 2 years. Their breakup? Messy. Cops were called once. She filed a restraining order, then dropped it 6 weeks later. She never said why. That night, she locked her doors early, pulled the curtains halfway shut, poured herself a glass of wine, checked her phone, then silence. 2:08 a.m. A call comes into 911. A man says he heard screaming from Heather's house. Officers arrive 9 minutes later. Heather is found in the foyer. Head trauma. 1 blow. Fatal. No forced entry. No defensive wounds. The wine glass was shattered. A ceramic vase was broken. And her phone? Still open to a text she never sent. The man who called 911? Her neighbor, Charles Ellman, 58, retired postal worker, lived across the street. He told police he heard screaming, but didn't see anything, claimed he was half asleep, that he didn't want to get involved. But 4 doors down, a family's security camera caught something else. At 2:03 a.m., 5 minutes before Charles called 911, a man is seen walking up Heather's driveway. He came from the side of the street where Charles Ellman lived. Tall, hooded, face shadowed, moving like he knew where he was going. Police reviewed the footage and showed it to Charles. He denied seeing anything, said he was in bed. But a warrant told a different story. In his garage, police found a hoodie, matching the one in the footage, binoculars, and a camera, a DSLR with a telephoto lens, still mounted on a tripod, pointed straight out a window toward Heather's house. On the memory card were 416 photos of Heather, some taken in daylight, others at night, through her bedroom window. He was arrested for stalking. But when questioned about the murder, Charles said something that changed the case completely. "I didn't hurt her," he said, "but I saw who did." He claimed it was James. Heather's ex said he watched James walk through the front door like he belonged there. No mask, no gloves, no hesitation. But James Weir was already dead. His car had been found 2 days earlier, burned, abandoned in a ravine 120 miles away, with a body inside, too burned to identify, but it matched James' size, his build, and in the back seat, his wallet, his phone, his license. So how could he have killed Heather after he was already dead? A forensic report revealed a partial fingerprint on the wine glass in Heather's kitchen. It matched James Weir, but the coroner's office confirmed the body in the car had died at least 36 hours before Heather. If James was dead, then who walked into Heather's house that night? Heather's sister came forward with a voicemail Heather left the day before she died. "If anything happens to me," she said, "look at my old messages, not recent, from the fall. Something was wrong with James. I don't think it was just him in that apartment." Police went back to James' last known residence, a small unit above a pizza shop. Neighbors there told detectives something strange. They always heard 2 voices inside, 2 men, but James lived alone. One of them was named Kyle. A search through James' criminal record revealed a former cellmate, Kyle Redman, 31, petty theft, breaking and entering, low profile. Kyle had vanished in January. No job, no credit history, no phone activity, just gone. But surveillance from a gas station near the ravine showed someone, who looked like James, filling a red gas can the night the car was torched. Facial recognition confirmed it wasn't James. It was Kyle. The theory: Kyle killed James, took his ID, moved into his life, and reconnected with Heather, posing as her ex. And she never knew, until it was too late. Police believe Kyle entered Heather's house the night of the murder, that he killed her to silence her, that he walked out, disappeared, and never looked back. But here's where it gets darker. 2 years later, in 2021, a woman in Cincinnati called police, said she was being followed, said a man named James had been showing up at her gym, her job, her apartment. She gave the police his license plate, came back to a fake name. Surveillance footage from her hallway showed the man's face, and it looked exactly like James Weir or Kyle Redman. But the man in the footage was never found. And Charles Ellman, the neighbor who saw it all? He was released, never charged. In 2022, detectives returned to re-interview him. But the house was empty, mail piling up, lights off, furniture gone, no forwarding address, no signs of foul play, just gone. The camera was gone too, but the lens marks were still on the windowsill. So here's what we're left with. One woman, murdered in her home. One man, burned in a ravine. One killer, still wearing someone else's face. And one neighbor who saw everything, but said nothing until it was too late. This case remains unsolved. And somewhere out there, a man is watching. Again, in the world of true crime, few things are more terrifying than a killer who doesn't just vanish, but becomes someone else. This is the story of an identity stolen, a body misidentified, and a face that keeps reappearing in the shadows of new lives. March 2018. Heather Kemplin is found murdered in her home. The prime suspect? Her ex-boyfriend, James Weir. But James, according to forensic evidence, had already been dead. A burned body found in a ravine. A fire so intense, even his teeth had fractured from the heat. But months later, a woman in Cincinnati reports being followed by a man named James. And surveillance footage proves it. The face in her hallway camera looks just like him. So who is he? And how many others has he followed? Because this story doesn't end with Heather. It only starts there. Police reopened the Weir case in late 2021, forming a special task force. Their target: a ghost using a name that belongs to the dead. They trace bank activity from James Weir's former accounts. One card was declined in a pawn shop in Dayton. It was used to try and sell an old Nikon DSLR camera. It matched the same model Charles Ellman had been caught with years earlier. The shop owner remembered the man, said he was tall, quiet, paid in cash. Showed ID, but it was registered to a different name, Michael Reese. The photo on the ID? A clean-shaven version of James Weir's face. The address? An abandoned motel off Route 62. Room 109. Police arrive. The room is stripped bare. No bed. No belongings. Except for one thing. A single manila folder. Inside, 8 photographs. All women. Different ages. Different cities. And in the top corner of each photo, a name, a phone number, and a date. Only one of the dates hadn't passed yet. December 2nd, 2021. It was 5 days away. The woman in that photo, Lily Armstrong, 33, our nurse, lives alone. Police track her down immediately. They tell her she may be in danger. She says she's already noticed something strange. Someone's been calling her cell and hanging up. And just last week, a man claiming to be a hospital security contractor showed up at her door. He asked to check her backdoor locks. Said it was just a protocol update. She let him in. She described the man. Tall, brown eyes, deep voice. Looked familiar somehow. She thought he was someone she'd seen at work before. Police show her a photo of Kyle Redman. She goes pale. I think that's him, she says. But he said his name was Thomas. Police stake out her home for 48 hours. No sign of him. On December 2nd, her security camera catches something. A man pacing back and forth in front of her driveway at 3:14 a.m. He never approaches the door, never looks directly at the camera. But when he turns, it's James, or Kyle, or whoever he is now. And just like that, he's gone again. The same day, an email is sent to an untraceable encrypted server tied to a burner laptop recovered from the Dayton motel. The contents of the email? A photo of Lily, taken from inside her house. It's clear now this man doesn't just stalk. He studies. He infiltrates. He becomes who you trust. Right before he disappears. And what happened to Charles Ellman, the original neighbor, only adds to the mystery. In June of 2022, a highway patrol officer in West Virginia pulls over a car for expired plates. The driver is calm, cooperative, but the name he gives, Daniel Holt, doesn't exist. The ID is a fake, but it looks professional. In the glove compartment, a receipt from a gas station in Columbus, paid for in cash, and a receipt from a hardware store, with one item purchased, binoculars. The man is let go with a citation for the expired registration. But dashcam footage shows something chilling. As the officer walks back to his cruiser, the driver smiles, just slightly, and says, "Still watching." The officer never hears it, but the mic on his vest picks it up. When the footage is played back later, investigators are stunned. They run facial recognition on the driver. There's no match. But side-by-side comparisons with Kyle Redmond's face? Nearly identical. Was Charles Ellman involved? Was he a victim? Or something worse? A decoy? Partner? Because after that traffic stop, no one ever saw that driver again. And one more thing. That folder found in the motel? There was a 9th photo missing. A ripped corner left behind. On the back of it, the faint outline of a name in ink. Amanda. Heather's sister, and below it, one word, next. The man who watched Heather from across the street, the man who wore James Weir's face, he's still watching, still choosing, still moving. And Amanda, she moved states, changed her name, but 2 weeks ago, she found something tucked inside her mailbox, a single Polaroid, no return address. It was her, sleeping, taken from outside her bedroom window. This case remains active, and somewhere out there, a man walks through neighborhoods, blends in, becomes familiar, waits, and watches. He doesn't need to kill to disappear. He just needs to become you. Some killers hide in darkness. Others hide in plain sight. But the most dangerous kind, you don't even know their name. Amanda Kemplin hadn't spoken publicly in years. Since her sister Heather was murdered in 2018. She'd gone quiet, moved twice, deleted all social media. But when she found that Polaroid, the one of her sleeping, she knew it wasn't over. She told police. Then, 2 days later, she disappeared. No signs of struggle. No forced entry. Phone left on the kitchen counter. Wallet untouched. The only thing missing was Amanda. And on her pillow, a folded piece of paper. One sentence, typed. She knows too much. Authorities issued a statewide alert. Her photo was broadcast. Volunteers searched for miles. Nothing. Until day 5. At a rest stop just outside Lexington, custodian found something strange. A manila envelope taped under a toilet tank. Inside were 3 photographs. One of Amanda sitting in a car. One of Heather months before her death. And one more. An old driver's license. The name? Caleb Mears. Issued in 2004. Long expired. But the photo? The same man seen outside Lily Armstrong's house. The same man seen impersonating James Weir. And on the back of the ID, scribbled in blue ink, this was the first one. Who was Caleb Mears? Investigators dug into the name. And what they found changed everything. Caleb Mears was a real person. Born in Wisconsin. Reported missing in 2005. Disappeared during a solo road trip to Nevada. Last known location? A motel outside Reno. The same chain where the Dayton room had been booked. And the police report from 2005 said this. Room was wiped clean. No blood. No struggle. Just his car, his license, and one item missing. A Nikon camera. the same camera model found years later in Ohio. The trail was now decades long. They started calling him the man with no name, because every alias traced back to someone real, someone missing, someone forgotten, and the pattern was always the same. He didn't just copy people. He absorbed them. He lived their lives, wore their skin metaphorically, maybe even literally, used their friends, dated their partners, and then discarded the mask when he was ready to become someone else. And all along he was watching, photographing, studying, building the next identity like an actor rehearsing a role. The real victims, they vanished so silently, no one noticed, because the killer kept living in their place. So who is he? And where is Amanda? 2 weeks after her disappearance, a woman in Arkansas receives a postcard. No return address. Postmarked from Oklahoma. One sentence. She's safe for now. But don't follow. The woman who received it, a retired investigator. She had worked Heather's case. Off the books. The handwriting? A match to one of Kyle Redmond's old journal entries recovered in prison. The ink on the card? Traced to a rare fountain pen model sold only in a specialty store in Tulsa. Surveillance from the store? A man in a gray hoodie, head down. But the cashier remembers the voice. Calm, polite, low. When asked for a name for the purchase, he simply said, Kyle. Police rushed to Tulsa, checked every hotel. Nothing. But then, one more twist. In a dumpster behind a gas station, a burner phone, wrapped in cloth, still powered on. It had one text message unsent. To Amanda's phone. It read, They'll never understand. You weren't supposed to be part of this. What does that mean? Was Amanda collateral damage? Or was she part of something bigger? Because when forensic techs pulled GPS data from the burner, they found something chilling. It had pinged dozens of addresses across 5 states, each one matching the last known address of someone reported missing since 2010. 14 total. And when cross-referenced, each victim shared one detail. They were all loners, minimal family, quiet lives, perfect people to disappear without anyone noticing. So how long has this man been doing this? 20 years? Longer? And the most disturbing question of all, what if he's not working alone? Because in the Lexington rest stop security footage, 2 people are seen walking in. One male, one female, both wearing hats, backpacks, no interaction, until the man exits, and the woman follows. Police believe that woman was Amanda, alive, walking, but not escaping, following, which means she may not be his next victim. She may be his next partner. This case is no longer about a single murder. It's a web of stolen names, vanished lives, and a man with no identity who doesn't kill for rage, but for reinvention. Heather Kemplin was only the first we saw, not the first to die, not the last to disappear. And now, there's a new photo, leaked from an unknown source, a selfie, taken in a truck stop bathroom, posted for 30 seconds on a burner Instagram account. In the reflection, a man standing behind the camera, face obscured by a baseball cap. But next to him, a woman, Amanda, smiling. They are out there, together, unknown, untraceable. He takes the names. She plays the part. And now, there's no telling where they'll strike next, or who they'll become. Some killers leave fingerprints. Others leave DNA. But this couple, they leave nothing but mirrors, reflections of the lives they've stolen. March 2023. An anonymous message is sent to a retired FBI profiler. No name, no contact info, just one line. You got the story wrong. Attached is a photo, a highway diner. In the window's reflection, 2 people seated side by side. One matches Amanda Kemplin, the other, still unidentified. But the build, posture, and shoulder scar all match the man last seen outside Lily Armstrong's home. The message came from an encrypted French IP address, but the photo was taken in Georgia. The profiler contacts authorities. They enhance the image, and what they find shatters everything. On the table, right in front of Amanda, a stack of driver's licenses, and beside them, a birth certificate, blank. This isn't just about escape. It's about creation. New lives, new histories, manufactured from nothing. But why? A week later, a woman in Nashville files a report. Her new neighbors had vanished overnight, left behind everything, furniture, dishes, even food on the table. But when she entered to check if something was wrong, she found the walls covered in post-it notes. Each one had a name, personality trait, a voice note, a habit, a secret. It was like a screenplay, dozens of lives being rehearsed. Each identity, written like a role, practiced like a performance. And on the fridge, one note, typed, taped directly in the center. We learn, then we become, until no one sees the difference. The couple had vanished again, but not without a trace. Police found a flash drive in a fake electrical socket. On it, video footage, dozens of clips, from inside people's homes, from inside hospitals, libraries, hotels, all from security cameras, all showing the same two people, Amanda and the man. In every video, they're wearing different clothes, using different names, speaking in different accents, and in every clip, they're mimicking someone else. One video stands out. A woman in her early 30s, barista, no known connection to the couple. She's walking home from work, talking on the phone, and across the street, Amanda follows her, mimicking her gait, her hand gestures, her laugh. It's not stalking, it's study, like an actor memorizing a role. 3 weeks later, that same barista is reported missing. And 2 days after that, a woman with her exact smile, hairstyle, and wardrobe checks into a hotel in Austin under her name. The staff thought it was her, until investigators compared signatures. It was close, but not hers. Now we know, they don't just copy lives, they erase the originals. But how far does it go? A whistleblower contacts a local crime podcaster. He claims to have worked at a clinic that processed identity records off the books. Fake documents, altered histories, fabricated medical charts. He says the couple was referred to them by someone named the Writer. A ghost identity, no paper trail, but an alias that shows up in 4 closed FBI surveillance logs. Each connected to black market ID networks, each ending the same way. Suspect vanished, case suspended, files sealed. But in one of those logs, a voice recording was leaked. A phone call. A man says, "We only take the clean ones, the ones no one will chase." The voice isn't Kyle, and it's not Amanda, which means the couple may not be working alone. They may be part of something bigger, an identity harvesting network, a performance cult, or something even more insidious. And just when investigators think the trail's gone cold, a tip comes in. A nurse in a psychiatric hospital reports a new patient, claims to be Amanda Kemplin, says she escaped, says he locked her away. But when police interview her, she doesn't know key facts. She doesn't recognize Heather's childhood photo. She doesn't recall her hometown. Her fingerprints, they match Amanda, but her memories don't. The real Amanda? Or a replica, an implanted identity? Or a mind broken by too many roles? And most chilling, in her room, taped to the mirror, a single post-it note. Don't forget who you're supposed to be. The couple in the mirror, they don't just steal lives, they become them, so deeply, even they might forget who they really were. And now, police have reason to believe one of them may have always been someone else. There was no original, only layers, masks, personas, and the one truth, they're still out there, still watching, still learning, still becoming. Subscribe for part 2, Echoes Without Faces, coming soon.